Well, hello again, ladies and gentlemen. It's your friend No Way. And you're probably thinking, what a weird title for me, huh? You know, a message from God. Well, as you know, there's always a method to my madness. We need to look at exactly where we have come to. The world has basically come to. Our history, in our present, in our future. You really sit down and do away with all the rhetoric, the propaganda, and this side, that side, and he said, she said, and on with all this. Just put all that madness right out. Massive amounts of propaganda coming from all sides, all angles, up, down, in, out, everywhere. And everybody swears it's the truth. Well, let's take a good look at the truth. First and foremost, the battle lines have been drawn. That's it. We can see that in the battles that are going on. You have one side that thinks there are no women's sports, men's sports. It's whatever you identify as today, and you join that sports team. So if you're on this sports team, you lose everything you do. Oh, geez, but if I identify as this and I come over here, hey, look, now I'm a winner. And look, I have some of these people all glorifying me. Who's going to define what's evil? You? Me? No, God does. Why is there good and evil? Well, Genesis explains that. Adam and Eve were, disobedient. They went against the rules, and lo and behold, sin was introduced into the whole mix. Now, God gave us the opportunity to choose. You can choose good, you can choose evil. When you have the freedom to do wrong, but you do right, and no one's going to know that you did right, but you know you did, and God knows you did. This is the whole message from God. But there's another very important part in God's message in the Holy Bible. That He inspired men to write, and they done as He asked. We have those out there today now that are clearly, as the Bible said, you will have mockers. And we have mockers, big time. We have people of a certain side politically that act like they're great Christians, but all they do is mock Christians. As you saw in my last video, one of them right here in town, yes, he's friends with the owner of that newspaper, and he prints his propaganda and his hatred all the time. But when he came after me, because me, like quite a few million, probably right here in just America alone, our go-to book is right here. It's the Holy Bible. This is our go-to book. Not man's babblings and lies and propaganda and half-truths and, whatever the science is today that we want to teach or preach. But no, right there, God's inspired word. But there was a warning in there. When we saw if you go through the Old Testament, every time Israel was going down the wrong path, they were being warned. This is going to happen, that's going to happen. They were judged. There was many hardships that fell upon them. Look at Daniel. Daniel came forth and said, the prophets have already said that Israel will fall. and we will be taken into captivity for 70 years. And poof. So when we look at the New Testament, where we're coming into these days today and where we're at, we have the mockers, we have the evildoers, we have the disobedient, we have the false converts. We have these people right now. It's so astounding to me that we have these people right now that talk like they're all righteous and they walk with God and everything, and they're mad at the current administration in the White House because he picked what they consider a non-Christian person. She's not a true Christian, and she's this and she's that. Who cares? Did you think once this person was elected there was going to be this magical revival in America because of him? He's a man, just like we all are. But you know what you're missing? You're missing what you're preaching. If there was going to be a revival in America and a coming back to God, it's going to come from the people. It ain't going to be from some man that you're worshiping. If I want spiritual guidance, it's right here. This is where the message from God comes from. This is where your guidance is. Not from some man in Washington, D.C. When I want spiritual guidance, I definitely do not look to the government. Is this the government God gave us? No. This is the government God allowed. Am I saying that God stopped all of these shenanigans? No. Did God do it? Did God not? Did God wake up enough people? Did God keep certain things in play? Most likely. But at the same time, we've got the government we deserve. Right or wrong or indifferent. The thing is, people think America's saved. America's not saved. Not even close. Look at the battle lines that have been drawn. I just mentioned the big fight for women's sports. They claim it's women's rights. But it's not women's rights. It's a certain group of people that is being forced upon us by Satan himself. And he has many duped into it. The biggest reason this is going on is because, think about it, the left, these Democrats, liberals, progressives, they hate conservatives. They hate Christians. Anything that they can do to disrupt our unity, our power that we have right now, our reprieve for the next 4 years, I should say, they hate it. They're at wit's end. I had mentioned in one video, I have a mid-60s sister that is having a mental breakdown. A mental breakdown. But these people, if you look at them, they're not just of that left side. The Bible even explains them. Lovers of self more than lovers of God. The lovers of pleasures. They love pleasure of the flesh. They love what they can get from the world, what they can take from other people, what authority they can exert over other people. You don't believe like me, so I'm going to attack you. I'm going to belittle you. I'm going to try to shame you because you don't think like me. That's how that group of people work. Look at what else is on the battlefield. They are screaming to save these people that have committed a crime by, coming into this country through other than legal channels and ways. Look at the ones that are here and the crime, the violent crime, the serious crimes, many other things that's going on. They're fighting to save these people and keep them in our country living off our tax dollars. And turn right around in the next breath and demand that certain clinics that are there only to terminate human life must be protected at all cost. So they fight for this violent criminal entity to stay in America while those souls are taken out. Think about that. What kind of moral standings is there when that's two of the battle lines? Look at the next battle line. Waste and abuse and fraud. They're taking money from you and they're giving it to themselves. And they're giving it to their friends and their family members. And, terrorist groups overseas. They're pushing that certain agenda that they're ramming down our throats. And they're spending millions of dollars around the world promoting it in other people's countries. Our media is being bought and paid for by your money and my money, our tax dollars. When you're seeing all these congressmen and senators becoming multi-millionaires, where do you think that money's coming from? It's not just all coming from their legal form of insider trading. It's coming from lobbyists that lobby Congress with your money. Tax this, tax that, tax. Why? How else are they going to get rich? How else are they going to fund their campaigns? How else are they going to run certain scams? I mentioned it in the letters, and I mentioned it on here before. How is it that over the past 50 years, they can spend hundreds of billions and billions of dollars on the war on poverty, and all they do is create more poverty? Billions of dollars spent on helping the homeless, and the homeless rate goes up. Look at all the things that they've done. Look at all this money going into the environment. But they claim the environment's getting worse. All this money's got to go into creating jobs, and the only jobs they create are hundreds of thousands of more government employees. And we're finding out now, what do you do? Do I really have to say? It's a whole corrupt cabal. Okay, that's being exposed. But yet all I see are accusations flying from both sides. The message from God? Well, from what I see in the Bible, think for yourself, learn for yourself, teach yourself. That's it. Open your eyes and see what's going on. This is a battle, ladies and gentlemen, between good and evil. Too many people are concentrated on too many things that they can't do nothing about. And they think that their words mean something. Your words don't mean anything. Your actions mean it all. What are you doing with your words? Are you truly sitting down and teaching people the truth, or are you sitting down and demanding people believe just like you because you know best? This is where we're at today, ladies and gentlemen. This is truly where we are at. It is a battle between good and evil. And you know what the good and evil battle is? It is us against them. Now, our tax dollars are going to go to rebuild parts of the world that other countries destroyed. Oh, but now it's our responsibility? No, it's not that it's our responsibility. That's how evil works. It gives to get. And it gives to get. And it gives to get. What are we going to get out of it? Or not us as taxpayers and as American citizens, but what's the government going to get out of it? The money's just going to go somewhere else. It's not going to go to corrupt means, but it's going to go to what they claim is America's best interest. But it doesn't benefit us. It benefits them. We're seeing the whole mess play out. We're seeing just how corrupt our government has been for decades. And yeah, it's pretty neat that there's somebody in there right now exposing the whole thing, tearing the whole thing apart, and pulled the massive plug right out of the bottom of the swamp. You know, everyone says term limits, term limits, term limits. The only way to get term limits is a constitutional amendment. And do you think the people that are becoming multi-millionaires by spending 20 to 40 years in Congress, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives, do you think they're going to vote themselves out of a job? Really? It ain't going to happen. It's just not. There's so much to it, ladies and gentlemen. So much. Let the world destroy itself. Put your faith in God. Let God show you and open doors for you to take care of yourself and to spend your years happy and content, not all freaked out because you just won't stop listening to all these other people that are there only to fearmonger and create division. Because I want my side in power, not yours, and the other side, well, I want my side in power, not yours. There's no unity. They don't want unity. I don't even listen to it anymore, ladies and gentlemen. I really don't. I watch what people are saying. I watch what's going on. And yes, it's political. And it's Christianity with a political structure to it. It's the false Christianity. It's the hatred for Christianity. I listen to all these things, and this is where I can see what's going on. And if you don't think that we're in the persecution just because America has not really been hit yet, you missed the past 4 years where the Catholic Church was called a terrorist organization. Catholic members were declared extremist groups. In the state of Maine right now, it is illegal for a Christian to talk to that community because they call it counseling. You're not even supposed to talk to a person that identifies as a tree today, that, well, why it's wrong, and these are the Bible verses, and it's man that created that. They call that counseling, and it's illegal. And oh yeah, let's not forget what's happening in England. In Britain, it's against the law to be within 200 or 2 to 300 yards, not yards, but meters is how they put it. So that's 900 to 1,000 feet from the clinic that takes the souls. It is illegal for you to stand quietly with your hands together, and you got your head, and you're in silent prayer. You will be arrested. A letter went out to the people in Scotland that live within that 300-meter range around one of these clinics, that it is illegal for you to sit in your own home and pray for those children. And we ask the public to turn in those that are breaking this safety barrier and praying. You're in your own home and you cannot pray for those. And you could have a sister, a brother, a parent, a cousin, an aunt, an uncle. Ooh, he's praying. Ring, 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 ring. Gestapo? Gestapo? My cousin's over here praying. Tonk, tonk, tonk. Knock on the door. You tell me that's not Christian persecution? Of course it is. So you tell me there's no persecution? Well, my message from God yes, there sure is. So it's time to, enough is enough. What's done is done. Just be ready and understand the only message that you should be listening to is the one that's coming from God through this book. Because this is the only way to save yourself. The current people in Washington, D.C. aren't going to save you. The people in your town government, they're not going to save you. The people in your state capital are not going to save you. They're not there for you. They're there for themselves. God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit is there for you. Oh, and it's free. When they're vile, nasty, belligerent, oh yeah, turn the other cheek and walk away. Why get into it with them? Why lower yourself to their standard to argue with these people? They're not worth it. They think too highly of themselves to listen to you. There's my message from God. Hopefully you can find yours. So on that, ladies and gentlemen, until next time, God willing, this is No Way Out.